Hello and welcome to my channel, The Caspers. My name is Will, and I'll be giving you some cruise advice that maybe some of you may not know, maybe some of you do know, but either way, I hope you find it beneficial to use, and maybe you can give us some feedback as well to see how it went based on the advice we give you. I've been cruising for quite some time. I've been like on over 20 cruises, I think. Yeah, 21. So I've had my fun with cruising, so I can definitely tell you a little bit of some cruise advice. So I'm going to give you some advice today. Like I said, hopefully you find it useful. If not, then at least you can provide us with information based on what happened. So basically, my advice to you is, I would say probably book your cruise at least a year in advance. Kind of know what you want. That way it gives you a little bit of time to pay off the cruise. Now there are several options that you can use to pay off your cruise. If you use a credit card, then obviously you pay your credit card company and you take as long as you want, but of course you're going to pay high interest. And I actually have a podcast on that on Spotify, The Caspers at Spotify, which talks about that more in detail. And actually I will be talking about it in future videos that I'll be making here for you. But I just wanted to give you some general advice on cruising. So like I was saying, I would recommend probably a 1 year in advance to plan your cruise. This gives you time to pay it down either by credit card, or you can either make payments to the cruise line. What's great about that is the cruise line will give you some time to pay it directly with them. You pay a small deposit and you make some payments to them. You just have to make sure that you pay it off in the specific date that they give you. Okay, that's one of two ways you can pay it. Okay. Now, if you're a first-time cruiser, I would recommend going to smaller cruises just to make sure that you don't get seasick. Okay, you don't know. All ships, all sizes, they all move, so it doesn't matter how big the ship is. Okay, you're gonna feel it rocking. So, hey, try out 3-4 day cruises first, and then gradually move up to every 7-day cruise or more, depending. That's how I started. I started off with a weekend cruise many years ago. I went with my cousin from New York and my friend from high school. We went out of Port Canaveral, Florida, and we went on a cruise, and we had a great time. It was Premier Cruise Lines. They don't exist anymore. It was called the Big Red Boat, something like that. Some rinky-dinky small little ship. It was very small. Nothing like Royal Caribbean or Celebrity or MSC. It was just a small little ship, and it was it was fun because it was the first time we go on a cruise ever that I've been on, my cousin and my friend. So we had a good time. It was great. Now, eventually after that, I went on another short cruise that my company provided for me when I used to work for this interior design firm. He took out the whole, all the employees from the workplace on a cruise. And it was, I want to say Royal Caribbean, I just don't remember. It was another small little tiny ship. I remember having a Johnny Rockets on it, and that's why I want to say Royal Caribbean, but I really don't know for sure. That was a very long time ago, late 90s, I think it was. It was early 90s, excuse me. I remember because I remember in the Port Canaveral I seen the Carnival Fantasy like moving away from us, so that's early 90s. So, but anyway, back to cruise advice here on when you should book. Book in advance, try to do 3 or 4 day cruises, and then gradually move up. Okay. Now, it's very easy to book online. Okay. When you book online, it tells you the prices, but you gotta be careful of because it will always show you by default inside prices first, or you see a flash sale that tells you $4.99 per person, right? Yeah, it's per person, but there's minimum of 2 people. So if you're a solo cruiser, you're still gonna pay for 2 people either way. That's just the pricing, the way it is through cruises. There's no way around it. But if you're a solo cruiser, you're gonna have to pay times 2. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Now you can go on the app. You can go online, purchase your cruise, whether it's inside, ocean view, or balcony. If you're new to cruising and you want to explore the whole ship, I don't recommend spending a lot of money on ocean view or even balcony. You're not going to be there. You're going to be exploring the ship all over the place because you're excited. Like, I want to go do this. I want to see that. I want to see this. So that can come with time if you choose to do so. The choice is yours. With first time cruising, you gotta be careful you don't spend and splurge everything, okay? As you go, you kind of learn how to spend your money here and there and not just splurge everywhere. Now with 20 plus cruises that I've done, Me and my wife have budgeted really good, so we kind of budget how much we want to spend on each cruise, including drinks and so on. So again, I urge you to, budget wisely, okay? Now, let's say you choose not to book online, okay? And you just call the cruise line directly, you can do that, okay? Those are cruise advisors, okay? They're there to give you any information or answer any questions you may have. So, which they're good, but just keep in mind is they're there answering questions for the cruise line that you called, okay? So they're still salespeople, okay? So just keep that in mind. They're still salespeople, so they're gonna try to sell you and close out the sale to try to make you book. Never feel pressure, okay? You get information you need online. If you need to ask questions, call them, and that's it. Don't feel obligated to book any cruise with anybody, okay? Especially a cruise advisor. Great people. I've dealt with several cruise advisors, and I've booked with them. There's nothing wrong with it. But my preference on certain things is to book directly with a travel agent. Now, the reason why I recommend a travel agent when you're new is because they can give you the opinions, the pros and cons of several cruise lines, not just the one that you're calling. So, imagine if you're calling a cruise advisor that's from Carnival or Norwegian Cruise Lines or Royal Caribbean, and you ask them questions, of course they're gonna make everything seem like it's the best cruise in the world. That's what they're promoting, that's what they're marketing, right? So this is why I urge you to kind of, do your research, know what you want before you actually book, ask a lot of questions, okay? Through a travel agency, remember, they represent anybody because it doesn't matter whoever you book with. Of course, the travel agent gets a little kickback from the cruise line. Now, they can tell you which is the best cruise line depending on what you're looking for. Remember, they deal with a lot of different type of cruise lines, okay? And a lot of the times, their clients will give feedback back to their travel agent. Hey, oh my God, that cruise was horrible. I didn't like this, didn't like that. And of course, they report it back to the cruise line. So this is why I recommend that you use a travel agent at first, because you're gonna get a little bit more. I'm trying to use the right word here. You're gonna get more authentic feedback when it comes to that, okay? Versus you using a cruise advisor that, of course, they're gonna make it, sound like their cruise line is the best. Because every cruise line out there claims to be the best and they think they're the best. But if you really think about it, only you can make that determination whether, you think so or not. It's your cruise, you decide whether it's the best one. You decide which is a cruise line that's good for you. It's your experience, so you should be able to talk about it, okay? Now, when it comes to, getting a little bit more experience of cruising, you can get and try the online feature. It just becomes easier to understand and book and, knowing what you're booking and so on, okay? You gotta be careful what you're booking. So again, I can't stress enough to always do your research. Now, up to date, I told you I've been on over 20 cruises, but I've used a travel agent several times for one cruise line. And the reason for that is because when it comes to one-on-one, this cruise line, it's just like, I don't know, I just don't get a lot of good feedback, a lot of bad reviews. I'm not gonna say they're cruise line, but let's just say that they have a lot of areas of opportunity, but yet, in my opinion, I will still continue to go on cruising with them because they've met me and my family's expectations. And when I say that, is the cruise experience itself. I'm not talking about the booking process or the embarkation process, which this cruise line is backwards. So again, I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. You experience it for yourself and you go on. I will tell you this, the best embarkation process or experience that I've had that has been the best has been with Celebrity Cruises. They impressed the heck out of me. That was done through the app, okay? I booked, but give you a little backstory. I actually booked with a cruise advisor with Celebrity. I went online to their website, I did the research, I pretended like I was gonna book it. I looked at the pricing, and I've now had sales with Celebrity. So I reached out to them, I spoke to one of the cruise advisors, and they answered some questions, and I was satisfied with the responses because they matched the information that I did research on. So I booked it through them, okay? Now, when you do that, then you get the information through the app, which you check in, you pre-check in, do your documents, all that good fun stuff, right? Let me tell you, that check-in process was amazing. It was quick, 1, 2, 3 on the ship, okay? I'll talk more about later on other segments that I plan to do for you folks, okay? But when it comes to, again, your rookies, you're not so experienced, I recommend travel agent, just because, they can give you better assistance if something goes wrong or you have any changes. It can give you all the ins and outs and everything, okay? So that's my advice in reference to that, okay? So more advice that I want to give you is that when you do go on the cruise ship, okay, and you experience everything that you experience, please tell everybody about it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Why? Because we all depend on reviews, right? We go online, we do reviews, we tell friends and family how that cruise went, right? So that's another piece of advice I can give you. Tell everybody how it went, especially if you're a travel agent. You went with a travel agent. Tell them how that cruise experience was, okay? There again, they have to report it back to the cruise line. So now in the future segments, I'm gonna break down more cruise advice per subject. So this cruise advice I'm giving you is just kind of a little bit of general information, but I'm gonna keep doing more episodes for you, which I'm gonna really break down cruising experience from like A through Z, okay, to help you the whole process and everything, okay? So this is kind of like an introductory video. Actually, my first video doing it this way to kind of share some advice I can give to you. So that's what I have for you folks this week. We'll release more throughout the week, maybe next week. So as soon as the content becomes available, I'll put it out there so you guys can view. I would appreciate your feedback, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I work in a job where I depend on that. So, all right, folks, that's all I have for you today. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be in touch very soon. Take care. Have a great day.